an upgrade today. Sky TV required. Offer ends 31st of December. Further terms apply. Nick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Just been doing a little bit of research. The Scots Nats have been in power for 13 years. 13 years. Should we look at how they're doing in a couple of aspects? What about the story of education? Scotland once absolutely preeminent across the whole of Europe, possibly the world actually. If you look now, studied 2 years ago, 20% of school leavers in the most deprived areas of England managed to get to university. For Scotland, that figure is just 13%. Should we talk about life expectancy? I remind you, the Scots Nats haven't just rocked up. They've been there 13 years. Male life expectancy in Glasgow is 64.4 years.
Yeah.
That's lower than Djibouti, Mongolia or Pakistan. And it's in the...
It's their fucking diet, Nick. It's fucking deep-fried Mars bars, that's
so
why.
So you have a shorter life in Glasgow by 11 years. The Scots Nats there for... Perhaps Miss Sturgeon would like to address some of that, rather than being so snippy and downright rude to William and Kate, who are on a working trip, saying thank you to Scottish ambulance drivers, who are probably delighted to see them, instead of that rather sour-faced politician, Stephen in Petworth, which is in Sussex. Good morning, Stephen. Your reaction?
Lovely
Good
Petworth.
morning, Nick. I'm a Scotsman living in England. I'm not going to sit in the fence. I can't stand her. And I couldn't stand Mr. Salmon before her either. If their name sounds like a fish, don't trust them.
They're part of the fish problem. What is it you don't like about Ms. Sturgeon?
Ms. Sturgeon is opportunistic. What she fails, and what a lot of people fail to remember, is the Queen Mother herself was Scottish.
Ah, of course. Yes, well done. Yes, she was. Yeah. Is there? I appreciate you're in West Sussex now, but family you still have in Scotland, and of course friends. Is there an affinity towards the royal family from them? Would you say?
Very much so. When Prince Charles goes up, I mean, as children, we used to go up to Balmoral and wave to the Queen when they went to church at Crathay. And everyone loves the royals up there. I would hasten to... No one likes Sturgeon. None of my family and friends like her anyway.
Lastly, I've got to put you say nobody liked. I mean, I appreciate the polls aren't for Nicola Sturgeon, but polls for SNP show that there is a growing support for the idea of independence.
Well, let's cross that bridge when we come to it. It happened in Canada years ago where the French wanted independence, and the Prime Minister said to them the night before, if you vote for independence, you're on your own.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that, Stephen. John in Birmingham, same subject. What do you make of Nicola Sturgeon's behaviour? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Hope you're well, mate.
Yes,
really great show.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yes, I'm all right.
Two things from me, really. You're in a bit of a grumpy one with Nicola Sturgeon this morning.
I think it's just rude.
No, Nick, come on, you've been grumpy with your producers already this morning, so let's put a bit of Christmas cheer in. Those guys work blooming hard to make you sound good on air.
Who's paying what?
Radio, I used to be sat where I worked 20 years ago.
Okay,
mate. Another major corporation. Fair to the woman. I'm no fan of hers, I'm no major royalist either way, but she's made a point, and it's okay saying about going north for work. Wherever the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge turn up, they are going to create a mass gathering. So is that a wise thing to do? We had the whole conversation about Nottingham yesterday, about the Christmas markets and people gathering. Wherever they go, there is going to be a mass gathering, and that is not what we need at this moment. So I hope you're going to get your team a good Christmas present this year.
They always, they're not invited to speak. They always get taken to an extraordinary Christmas lunch, which ends about, well, no, I can't do that this year. I'll have to give them something else, cash or something. Lastly, come on, don't you think if you've been driving an ambulance in Scotland all day, and suddenly you have, these last 9 months, and you have the opportunity to meet William or Kate, that's going to be something you're going to remember for the rest of your life, and a picture is taken, you're going to pass that to your grandchildren, aren't you?
The right timing for it there, Nick. Should this be done in 12 months' time when we've got a better impact?
No, these people are putting a hell of a shift though, John.
I work for the NHS as well, John. So I would love it, and do you know what? It'd be a massive morale boost.
Yeah.
I agree from that. But they've been doing those Zoom calls throughout lockdown. They've been doing those occasions to meet people. They did the virtual opening with the Nightingale Hospital.
Yes.
Now that would still give just as big a boost to people at this time. I just think we need to keep people safe. Vaccine Day is brilliant, but people safe. It's not a sprint.
On that again in a moment. LBC News Bulletin. Let's get into it in a little more detail. The minimum age to play the National Lottery will rise from 16 to 18 next year. Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden launched a major review of gambling laws, trying to protect children and vulnerable people. This will be October 2021, so it's not exactly being brought in enormous speed. Online sales, though, for 16 and 17-year-olds will stop in April. Let's put some of this to Dr. Amanda Gummer, who's a child psychologist and the founder of the goodplayguide.com. That's all one word, goodplayguide.com. In a sentence, give us an advert for goodplayguide.com. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. It's a resource for parents and carers to find ideas for play, toy reviews, app reviews and advice on parenting and child development.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thanks.
Doctor, a 17-year-old can get married or can join the armed forces but can't play the National Lottery. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but they can't drink either, and they can't vote, and there's other things that they can't do.
They can get married, which is quite a big deal. What's the harm in spending a couple of quid on a dream?
No, and I think if it's done, for the vast majority of people, it's probably fine. I think that it's a tricky area, and I think with the increase in reporting of mental health issues amongst teenagers and anxiety and general concern about their mental well-being, I think it's not a bad thing to put some protections in place to help them manage what can potentially be addictive behaviours.
But doctor, they're not managing, it's a bar. It's a restriction. You can't manage something you can't do.
No, and what they're saying is by the time you're 18, you've got that little bit more independence, that bit you're legally an adult, you are responsible for your own finances, all of that kind of stuff, and maybe delaying that for a couple of years gives those vulnerable teenagers just that bit more protection. And like you say, for the vast majority, and normally I'm not in favour of banning things, and generally I'm fairly liberal-minded in that kind of thing. I can see why, especially at the moment with the pandemic, with the mental health crisis that I think we have got in our teenagers, I'm not as against this as I would have expected to be, previously.
Okay, but just finally on this, how many 16 and 17-year-olds do we know who are sadly hooked on gambling on the National Lottery?
I don't have those stats, so I haven't got that.
It's going to be very few, isn't it? It's going to be very few, isn't it?
I'm not sure that you would be able to find that data particularly easily, because I think a lot of it would be hidden simply because they are underage. So I think like you have trouble finding out how many young kids are on social media because they're registered with false IDs and all the rest of it. And I think that's the other thing, is you're always going to have that buffer. So you've got the kids who, fake ID to be 18, where you can, and so it always happens a bit earlier than you think. So we're not really protecting the 17-year-olds, we're protecting the 14, 15-year-olds with this law.
Thanks, Dr. Amanda Gummer, child psychologist, founder of goodplayguide, all one word, .com. Jeff, your attack on Scotland is childish. You need to stop it now. Craig in Glasgow, well said regarding Nicola Sturgeon. I don't know anyone who can stand her. She's an embarrassment. I want to apologise to the rest of the country for Nicola Sturgeon. I don't think, Craig, we can blame you. Jackie in Edinburgh. Jackie, your reaction to how Nicola